There's only like 3 institutions you can be in which you can launder billions of dollars through a foreign nation state, then put it back into the American stock market, and then live life like a king. That's going to be casinos, churches, marijuana. And the fact that all of these leftist states all are medical marijuana tells me all I need to know about them. I believe most of the larger marijuana companies are partnered with transnational drug cartels, and they're simply money laundering institutions. That is why everyone wants to crucify me, is because I stopped their money laundering activities. When you're dealing with hedge funds, the commodity's the money.
It's the Texas Growers Podcast. If you're sitting there watching YouTube, you're probably keeping up with the latest drama in federal and state cannabis and hemp, and you're probably keeping up with all of the headlines and the noise out there. So we're going to talk about all of that. If you've been looking for answers, if you've been looking for insight on what is really going on behind the scenes, 2 individuals that are sitting in this room have a lot of insight on that, and we're going to cover a lot of those topics. Today I have the one and only Hemp King, the infamous Wyatt Larew in the building. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on.
It's good to have you. It's been a long time coming. And I'll tell you, like, some people out there, they either say Wyatt's fucking crazy or Wyatt's fucking dead on. And I'm in the dead on camp. And we're gonna uncover a lot of that today. And
I think both are true.
Yeah, both are true. But some, and that's what's crazy. It's like sometimes when people hear things that are true and just so asinine and heinous, it's like I can't believe it. I refuse to believe it. And then it really is true. And so I hope that we uncover a lot of that in the video today and in the podcast today, and kind of get some folks some answers and insight onto what is really going on. I feel like there's a lot of noise, like headlines here, headlines there. Cannabis operators say this, hemp operators say this, real estate moguls say this, stock traders say this, right? So everybody has their take. But we're actually in it, especially in the state level. And then obviously you have personally had some run-ins with some of these larger companies. So I really wanted to talk about that. But give Wyatt Purp and all of the stuff you've done, kind of give the lay of the land there, give it a shout out and tell everybody about that.
My name is Wyatt Larew. I founded this company in 2020. I was the first Texas company to bring Delta-9 THC to market. I got in writing from the Department of State Health Services that only Delta-9 THC at less than 0.3% with non-detectable amounts of Delta-8 was legal, and that everything else was a Schedule I narcotic via the Analog Act. So essentially, I then went to some very wealthy people that I know and asked them for solutions on how I could enter the marketplace. And they gave me some solutions as ideas. Then I had to go craft them out and figure it out, in which we were able to do that, and brought the oil back to Texas. And it all started from there at the Delta-8 Expo in Dallas, Texas. We released Delta-9 THC, and everyone was like, "You're going to go to jail." And I was like, "No, you're going to go to jail." And that's where everyone thought that I was insane when it started off. And I was the first person in Texas to also bring to market THCA flower. I mean, pretty much nationally, I interpreted the law the correct way, did all the research, figured it out that the MSO PhD cannabis growers were absolutely full of it and didn't even know the general biology of the plant. Then basically went on LinkedIn, Teslaed this to everybody, like just gave it all away. Even had like a seminar on how this worked, told them what lawyers to get. They kicked me off LinkedIn for life. I got 220,000 followers twice, and they were all executive level people, and everybody was super interested in this. I saved, the only post I have saved from LinkedIn was from Mike Hammer. He owns Mike Distro down in Florida. It's a really big distro, and he was like, Wyatt's the only person who's been talking about THCA for a long time. How is it that all of you have like thousands of pounds in your field now all at one time? Yeah. And he didn't really quite understand that all cannabis is really legal right now while it grows. And the there was a lot of misinformation put out by the big marijuana companies saying that this isn't even possible, that that's not the biology of the plant, when in actuality it is. So then they've just started trying to redefine THC to include like THCA.
Yeah, things that are not THC.
Correct. It 100%. In order to suit a narrative, maintain their monopolies, and also protect the state governments that have, violated everyone's rights.
So unpack that, because people always get on to me about using terms like MSO and shit and kind of talking a little high speed and high level about this. So unpack some of that, like the state and federal stuff that's going on, like kind of the setup here for people that don't know.
The states have to operate under federal law. Right. Well, they're supposed to, okay? Right. The states are allowed to regulate products, but they are not allowed to do what they're doing to us here.
Right.
Marijuana is a Schedule I narcotic. The word is actually a legal definition. It's not a physical thing. And the definition is attributed with the legal definition to tie with banking. It's a Schedule I narcotic with high probability for abuse, and no medical use is essentially what it's defined as. So medical marijuana can't really even exist. It's a double negative in the 4th grade.
It's crazy to me that that's like the word that they put on it, and people defend it so fiercely. It's like you can't have like some derogatory term for some narcotic that is, like you said, they define it as having no medical use, no medical benefit, and high probability for abuse. Then you just slap the word medical in front of it, and it's like, all right, all that's gone. We're going to just look the other way.
But that really doesn't redefine the fact that even if it's medical, it's marijuana, which means that it can't be what they're representing under their own codified laws.
Scam.
So it's a scam. Realistically, marijuana is just an adverb that has basically, I don't want to say it this way, but it's true, is basically enslaved the population of the United States. Cannabis is what we all think of when people say marijuana. That is the actual noun. That is the real thing. That is the person, place, or thing. Can't believe I have to say that. And, and then hemp is the description of legal cannabis under UN drug treaties, and marijuana is the definition of illegal cannabis off of UN drug treaties. So having a general understanding of that in a very, what I consider thorough knowledge of the Constitution, because of where I was raised by very high-level military officers in Yorktown, Virginia, and my whole family are military brass, so we really respect our country. We love it. I have a great appreciation for the Constitution, not really for politicians.
Right.
And the Constitution says that the treaties are the supreme law of the land because those are ratified by the president, the Congress, and the Senate. And all 3 branches, when they ratify a treaty, that's an international obligation with all other nation states that we have to comply with. So in, I think it's like the 61 or something, they came up with a treaty. Well, they came up with an agreement called the Controlled Substances Act, which actually categorized cannabis into this schedule. But they didn't actually, this is where people need to realize, is that the flower isn't the illegal part of what's going on.
Right.
Okay. Like the state, I guess, technically can legalize the flower, or the THC or whatever, but they can't legalize the banking.
Yep.
That is the federal RICO crimes. Yep. Okay. So that's why I've never accepted cash, because accepting cash for something that could be represented as narcotics is a federal drug crime. And every person that I've ever known who went to prison for, selling narcotics, they didn't get caught with any narcotics. They got, 20-year plus life sentences for money laundering charges.
It's always the money, bro.
It's always the money.
It's always money. And I knew people, whenever hemp went legal, you pop up like your trap house, you pop it up in a retail store, and you think like you're legit, but you're taking cash and you're not reporting it. And before you know it, the cops and the feds don't care about the marijuana or the cannabis or the hemp products that you're selling. They care about the money that you've laundered, and the hemp and the marijuana products that are uncompliant become another additional charge on top of that because they got you for the first one.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's always the money, bro. You got to have the money right. And that's what really pushed me and my side into like the hemp and the legal thing is like, don't don't do the black market, especially when the hemp thing is so available and federally legal, is it keeps you already out of so much hot water.
Well,
The money thing is so important, bro.
This was the idea behind me when I released these products. Is everyone was like thinks that I legalized weed. I didn't legalize weed. I don't claim to. Whoever wrote the legislation the way they did this in a very rudimentary scientific way, off 6th grade math, 4th grade language that is very basic and very easy to understand. When they removed the Chevron doctrine, the state agencies no longer get to interpret the law however they want to interpret it. It's exactly as written.
Yeah.
So I whiteboarded this, and I don't really call it legal cannabis as much as I call it a Controlled Substances Act compliant THC delivery system. Right. But that's not really the packet. The package is it granted me access to the international monetary system. That was the hack. The hack was to be able to bank it. The banking, I registered all the SKUs with the banks. I got the legal opinions in order from, people who screwed me over even, and got everything on pace to where the largest firms in the United States were understanding that because I didn't violate the Analog Act, because I was doing this naturally, and because it came from hemp at less than 0.3%, and because the products manufactured were less than 0.3%, that I could put this money in the bank. So that was what is the biggest threat here to the largest marijuana companies, I believe, is currently, I believe, most of the larger marijuana companies are partnered with transnational drug cartels, and they're simply money laundering institutions.
100. I fucking agree with you almost wholeheartedly.
That is why everyone wants to crucify me, is because I stopped their money laundering activities dead in its track. I created 100%. A constitutionally backed solution through the Controlled Substances Act, in which the exact same legal precedence of putting 1 million people in jail and then creating a system that is compliant with that means that those who took an oath to the Constitution have to protect me. And not put people in jail who are consuming my products. A lot of people don't understand that. That's why I'm so much different than everyone, is I don't violate the Analog Act. And that's key. And that's what they're setting everyone up to go do, so that they can take it away from you later. And that's what's imperative, is they want to stop the banking because I've put all this money in the bank. I'm paying taxes. They can audit me. My books are primo. Primo, like go for it. You know what I mean? I don't have anything to hide. I started this with $20,000. It's worth millions of dollars now. And it's all because I gave myself access to the the monetary system. So that's why this is so important for people to understand, is that this isn't about, to a drug cartel or to somebody who trades in commodities, the commodity isn't really the actual agricultural commodity. When you're dealing with hedge funds, the commodity's the money. So right now, as there's only like 3 institutions you can be in which you can launder billions of dollars through a foreign nation state, then put it back into the American stock market, and then live life like a king. That's going to be casinos, churches, and marijuana companies. And the fact that all of these leftist states all are medical marijuana tells me all I need to know about them. And realistically, what I've created, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. Okay, I'm neutral in politics, man. I don't believe in any of it. Honestly, I believe in the military. But this is a conservative-based way of cannabis consumption that allows access to the banking system. So if our politicians were smart, they wouldn't be selling us out to people who launder money and operate all cash businesses. They would simply take it from them, build up their war chest from my bank money, and where that they could legally take it and then spend it. But now every politician and every lawmaker and every state cop who took money from Trulieve or from any of these other marijuana companies, now they can be blackmailed. It's over. It's done. You just took illegal narcotics cash and you put that in your bank. Like now, if I go down, you go down.
Yep.
So they're literally, I see these people as terrorists. They are literally jeopardizing our national security the same way Epstein did. They're bribing politicians with Schedule 1 narcotics money that they owe the IRS. So they're simply robbing us of our money as a U.S. taxpayer, and then using that to bribe politicians to engage in RICO to carve them out monopolies for them to have state-sponsored narcotic monopolies partnered with transnational drug cartels who literally are traded on the Canadian Stock Exchange.
It's fucking crazy, bro.
Dude, this is so far over the top.
It's so fucking crazy.
It's like the mob is completely
100%
in control of everything, and there's it's so ludicrous and over the top that our government is prepared to partner with such evil people who they could simply indict immediately
100%.
And that they're going to destroy hundreds of thousands of people and then now criminalize and re-imprison them just so that some people can launder some money. So what's really going on, man? I kind of see this as like Somali daycare.
Bro, it's the whole thing is Somali daycare, bro. I've been saying that for quite some time. And like, if you guys want to catch up on this, I did an entire video exposing the blacklist of medical marijuana and multi-state operators. So go check out that other video and get kind of a background on this. And it also shows you the resource of don'tmesswithtexascup.com. Has all the facts, all of the links to information, all public information, published factual evidence of what these folks are literally doing and guilty of, and their paper trail and trail of slime and shit that they leave behind in every market. And
they don't care because they compromise so many people
100%
that they know that if I go down, I'm taking you with me. This is the Hillary Clinton model.
Absolutely.
100%.
And it's the thing that most Americans right now are pissed off about, and you're hyper vigilant on of, you know, all this corruption, all these lying politicians, all these slime balls, all this money that moves behind the scenes. It should piss you off. And then to kind of transition into our current state of the industry, I have conversations coming up with a lot of folks from other markets and a lot of pioneers that for the longest time were like, fuck you, Colton, and fuck Texas, you gas station peddling THCP, synthetic isolate, children killing motherfuckers. And now all of a sudden it's like they're hemorrhaging, they're fucking going under, they're feeling the heat of what these corrupt motherfuckers do and what the people at this higher level can do to you. And so what I'm seeing now is more people are willing to come to the table and talk and be like, how do you guys do this in Texas? How are you doing this in the hemp sector, right? How are you doing this in banking? How are you avoiding all these people's bullshit? And I think what should come from this episode is just listen to some of these other perspectives and these other takes and realize that, you know, there's the world outside of California and Oregon and Colorado. You know, there's a world outside of that. And these people are after you too. They're not after just hemp and just me and just the fucking gas stations on the corner and all this other shit. They're after you too. All of the struggle and all of the licensing and all of the money that you've spent to set up in your own market, they're coming after you too. They don't fucking care.
And as you can see, they own all the regulators.
Yep.
Like they just created SB3 through TABC, bought and paid for 100%, which should actually, you know, incriminate them too, because this is all legitimate classic racketeering. This is the mob
100%.
Moving billions and billions of dollars through the financial system illegally from state to state. Even if they don't move the weed across state lines, the money is the federal crime that everyone I know went to prison for. So why are these people immune to crimes that literally this is what they took down? What's the guy who used to run all of the liquor back in the day during Prohibition? Al Capone.
Yeah, dude, Al Capone.
This is exactly what he was doing. I'm not paying you any taxes.
Yeah.
I'll take your tax money, bribe the cops, and if you don't take it, I'll shoot you. Is that where we're at next? Are these people being threatened? What is actually going on to where, you know, my business and a technology worth billions of dollars is going to be destroyed so that people can prop up an illegal word? And is what I meant earlier by the state is framing people is that back in the 80s and I believe the early 90s, precedent has already been set through the federal level on this.
Mm-hmm.
What has happened with like Chief Dye and what you guys witnessed here in Texas is the biggest. I mean, to me, it makes me like cry inside that we even have law enforcement that would do these horrible, evil things. But let me go back to this. I believe it was the 80s, okay, when crack came back real hard. Crack was hitting LA and whatnot real hard. They were charging black people with possession of crack who had cocaine because they gave advanced charges if you had crack where it was like a 20-year automatic sentence if you had like 1 gram of crack, okay? So the crime labs were just saying everything was crack, okay? And
sounds familiar.
And this had to go through the federal courts, and the federal court said you can't change the chemical composition or misrepresent something to get a conviction. That's fraud.
Yep.
Okay. Then it happened again where they set the precedent with cocaine and crack, where cocaine is not crack. Okay. Just so that they stop fucking framing everyone for life sentences. Then it happened with heroin, I believe in the 90s, and that precedent was set. Now, where they were converting like everything into this and everybody was guilty. Okay. Now we're at a spot with cannabis where they've built all these state-sponsored monopolies, and the states themselves are using a form of testing that is completely antiquated, in which it uses a diode that gets up to like almost 1,000 degrees if you want it to.
It's like the fucking surface of the sun.
It's exactly. And I am telling you from somebody who has patent pending technology that you can't even be in possession of CBD and then test that and it not be come back as THC. So it's impossible to not be guilty based off the way they test cannabis. And the fact that in Texas, this is a Delta 9 THC state. This is not a total THC state. This is not a total THC state. That's what they're trying to do to us right now, which means that for the last, since 2018, every single cannabis arrest and conviction was based off a total THC lab test that was altered and fraud was committed, which means that every single state agency and official who was part of that engaged in fraud to guarantee a conviction against an innocent person by using rigged testing to guarantee their guilt when they simply use HPLC for everything else, but just in the crime labs and just to go after us. Everything now is GCMS, while the largest cannabis companies themselves use HPLC like we're doing that prove everything is correct. But the state is refusing to do that. When every agent of the state who is part of that, it's the way the Constitution, back to that Constitution I love, says that if an agent of the state uses fraud to get a conviction, that they lose that qualified immunity that they have. So all of these people in the state, and I mean, I have documents from the governor himself that he signed with the lieutenant governor and the attorney general. Like, I have their names in the document that said, you guys just go on ahead and keep prosecuting people the same way. So like, dude, this was a directive to literally frame hundreds of thousands of people, disenfranchise them from voting, and they used a fraudulent form of testing to guarantee their guilt, even if they had CBD or if they had cannabis. There was no way to know because the way they tested it, you can't tell the difference. So then those people pled guilty to convictions, and now their lives are ruined. And all of the people who were involved in that under federal law, they should have lost their qualified immunity, and now their civil assets should be up for grabs in a federal court. That's why the state is freaking out, because they realize that they can't really say it's an accident when the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the attorney general gave the directive to violate everybody's rights.
I've been trying to explain at an elementary level to people too, when of course it's emotional right now, there's a lot at stake, but we have the leverage. Like, we really do. And that's why our necks are still attached to our bodies. We have the leverage. And it's hard to explain to people like everything that you're saying. And I can tell that every single day you live and breathe this and you know this knowledge. Other people are just trying to make it till tomorrow, and or they're just trying to make it down to the local dispensary to buy a product. But all this stuff is going on, and it's like a war for your money and your health, your consumption, and the control over this substance. And I think people just need us to realize how much leverage we do have, listen to some of these perspectives, and act accordingly. Because just showing up for 2 minutes and screaming and crying or talking is effective in the immediate. It's not the big picture. And
Correct.
I keep telling people that. Like, there's a lot of leverage we have that we need to use, and we're not yet, in my opinion.
This is going to go against everything that people believe in too, for the most part, you know. But listen, man, the cops aren't bad.
No,
they're military men and women. They're just doing their job.
But this is the thing, and I come from a law enforcement family, which is crazy. I mean, yeah, it's crazy, especially watching like shit like Glass House and all that shit. So coming from a law enforcement family is fucking wild. And I don't do the shit that Glass House does, by the way. And I don't have to. I want to put that on the record. I don't have to. That's the beauty of it. They do it because they're sinister. Anyway, most cops are good people. Most police officers and most law enforcement officials, most government officials, most of the time, are decent people. When they become politicians,
that's when everything
shit
goes
changes.
bad.
And the police chief is a politician. He's not a police officer anymore.
That's right.
He doesn't interdict with the public. He doesn't. No, he's a politician. He's an agency head, basically. And that's a different type of animal of who wants to be that, who gets appointed to that.
This is what I saw though, okay? Is I see that Abbott is trying to make the right choice, and I see that the lieutenant governor is doubling down with all his cop buddies behind him because they know they're in big trouble. Okay?
Totally.
They have the most to lose. Those pensions and those lake houses and everything that they've given themselves are all up for grabs from 70% of the people they arrested were black. They know that I know the truth. Or they already would have put me in a box, like 100%. Like they know that I feel like I have a lot of respect from them because I did this in a constitutionally backed way that they all appreciate, and that's what they took an oath to. And at the same time, though, they don't really like it. You know what I mean?
No,
so they have an appreciation for the art, but they're going to try and dismantle the art the same way that I assembled it, you know? But that being said, is where the line was crossed is that you can see Abbott trying to make the right choices here. You can see Lieutenant Dan over here saying, no, we're doubling down on the mistakes of the past. And realistically, I feel like, you know, now that they know that I know the truth and what they did, and that all of this is public, like you can just go figure this out. It doesn't take a degree in chemistry to go understand what they just did. I can make a garbage man to a lawyer understand this in 5 minutes in a jury. They're screwed. You know what I mean? Abbott needs to tell this dude to kick rocks and run backwards through a cornfield, and he needs to make right, and he needs to offer commuted sentences and pardons for anybody who is falsely arrested and convicted, and right in there on a rider that allows these police officers to start making the right choices and not doubling down on the corruption, so that we can all come together and say, hey, you fucked up, we fucked up. We have to work together to come to a bridge to build a constitutional solution that we can all agree on. Beating people over a head and putting them in prison using fraudulent testing is a very short-lived solution here that's not real. So how do we actually not allow these states people like Lieutenant Dan, who has the backing of law enforcement, who put all the liability on our DPS officers, which to me is asinine. It's a complete humiliation of law enforcement.
DPS and state troopers are hands down the best law enforcement officials probably in the United States, maybe the world. They're my favorite. If I have to interact with any type of police officer, I always want to choose state troopers.
Most
respectful, most level-headed, and their badge and their job means so much to them and the state. They're less likely to fuck up and be an asshole. Don't push it. But they're less likely, and they're going to meet you where you are, and they have a lot more training, and I really appreciate that. But at the same time, that same Department of Public Safety that will send the troopers out to arrest your ass and tear your car apart on the fucking side of the highway in Texas is the same entity that wants to send you to the fucking local medical dispensary and use one of their licensees to continue to beef up their entire department.
That's kind of where I'm at, is the state had a choice to make, and they could have rectified all the wrongs and made the correct legal choices, or they could double down on their corruption and partner with transnational drug cartels and launder a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And they picked the latter.
Crazy.
But I see that there's like a rift between the power. The governor doesn't really have the power here. He is the power. He's the most powerful to like veto and do things. But realistically, the lieutenant governor, he's the one who's getting his hands dirty and he's covered in shit. And the fact that these DPS officers, I think that if the heads of law enforcement actually figure out what this guy's actually doing that he's humiliating them beyond the fraternal order of law enforcement is, I can mock them like I've never been able to and completely turn 1,000 people in 20 minutes against them because they decided to sell fucking drugs for the cartel.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Like, they just want to turn 10 million Texans into criminals to allow 12 people to now sell illegal drugs and then make all the legal stuff illegal. And we're no longer going to have banking access. We're going to go back to the cash model where we can launder as much money as possible.
The cartel are way more effective and established than people believe. They're not just running marijuana and cocaine over the border. They're running people. They're running organized crime. They're running avocados. They're running
police departments,
tequila, police departments. Like it's so deep. And then when people hear me say, you know, well, we're fighting against the cartel, I really think they're thinking like, oh, well, Colton just doesn't want this guy selling dime bags next to him. And that's not like what the fuck I'm talking about.
You have entities in South America who human traffic and smuggle cocaine and heroin by the ton, bring in all the cursors to do fentanyl here in Texas. Now they're going to build out all the conversion labs. Is everyone not realizing what just happened? That in order to make, now that all of the stuff is gone, they're now assembling labs that will be able to manufacture fentanyl like crazy across the state. That's the new laws. 100%. Are you fucking kidding me? This is like, if anyone could understand, if you've ever seen Breaking Bad, all that stainless steel equipment underneath the dry cleaners, all that is a 150 liter reactor.
Yeah.
It's a stainless steel reactor. It's not that crazy. It's not that rare, but it's rare in Texas. They don't have them here. If I were to try to bring that stuff in here within the last 5 years, I would, list it, DEA. Now that they just made these rules, you're going to have every foreigner in that was making these products now building out a conversion lab.
Conversion lab, that's what we want.
Oh my God. And there's going to be, where they're going to bring in 3,000 reactors and then, the cartel isn't going to get any of them. And then they can make 2,500 pounds of meth a day.
The same fucking people that are pinning me to the wall for hurting fucking high school kids or whatever, will have these people getting their own conversion labs set up. These people that already are selling Kratom Percocets and 7-0 and fucking
the truth.
nitrous that should go in your car should be fucking, hooked up to your teen in high school and shit. And then I got to go testify and defend myself against these corrupt fucks. And these people, go on their merry way. And now they're going to have conversion labs on every fucking corner too.
If people really think that they're going to do chemistry correct, they've lost their fucking minds. So,
dude, and look at the industry right now. Everything is a race to the bottom. Everything is, I want it for 5 cents. I want to make 50 cents on every product. It's a race to the bottom. What do you think they're going to do when they're in charge of chemistry? I mean, it's happening already right now.
It's happening right now, but at least they've done a good job of keeping it out of my state.
Right.
The only real lab that was kind of here was, I mean, it wasn't even real. It was like, I knew that shit was a sham a long time ago because all the equipment he would put videos of and stuff, none of it was ever used. It was all brand new and clean. I was like, that's not ever been used before, obviously. You know what I'm saying? He would just pour things in and then let it come out the bottom just for marketing promotion purposes or whatnot. But everything's been shipped in from real labs that actually can make safe products.
Right.
I'm not going to eat them, and I wouldn't make them or give them to anybody. But I would much rather somebody with a $30 million conversion lab in Colorado
with some GMP, at least some sort of standard,
some real standards in place, rather than I rented a 3,000 square foot warehouse and got a hemp handler's license for $300, and now we're gonna make fucking drugs like this, and everybody's violating the Analog Act. I'm never gonna do that. That's what they don't understand. They're getting set up. So I believe that this is what's happened. Is with this legislation through THCA, they've essentially carved out a natural monopoly for the large medical marijuana providers. who are charging, by the way, $70 for a pack of gummies.
Pack of gummies.
Okay.
At 1% THC.
That's right. And I am like one of the only people who are natural here that do it from my way. Everyone else does live rosin because they can grow flower and do it or whatnot. But I'm no longer even going to even be able to bring that in. You're not going to be able to grow any natural cannabinoids. And all that's going to be able to be done is to be able to ship in CBD isolate. Okay. And then you're going to be able to convert the isolate into whatever drug you want.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works. CBD is like Sudafed. It's the precursor to whatever cannabinoids present that you want the chemistry to make. That's what you need. So people are literally going to bring that in, use toluene, DCM, all these solvents that literally come with crossbones and skull and crossbones on them, like, to make fucking consumable products that are going to be synthetic, and then they're going to poison the fuck out of everyone, and then in a year they're going to say it's an emergency.
Right. The horror story they're saying is happening now is
they're
what
creating.
they're going to create.
They just created
it true. It's almost like the government does this. It's crazy.
It's while simultaneously giving the entire flower market back to the cartel.
To the cartel and to the black market.
And now you're going to build out multiple conversion labs that can make up to 25 to 5,000 pounds of fentanyl a day.
Yeah.
Along with methamphetamine, dual purpose.
And this is what we mean when we tell these people there's going to be a big fucking problem when you take this industry away overnight. There's a vacuum. These smokers, these edible consumers, anybody looking for relief is going to go try to find the solution. It might be in 7-0 from the fucking local convenience store. It might be in my hemp product. It might be in weed from the local dealer. They're not just going to stop.
Nobody's going to stop, man. Like,
and
these politicians also need to understand that they created a living situation that fucking sucks, dude.
100%.
Like it's $2,500 to rent an amateur beginning house in Dallas,
or a piece of shit
for
box.
a piece of shit box. Most of the people need cannabis. I call hemp the working man's weed.
Yeah, because
it's the only thing that is keeping them from going and pitchforking these people 100%. At this point. Dude.
I totally agree,
I don't understand what they're about to. But I know that I want to kind of look at this as the glass half full. So I truly believe that if they do ban flower here, they're going to get the Streisand effect like a motherfucker.
100%.
And everybody's who then they turn 10 million people into criminals 3 months before an election. Okay,
buddy.
Yeah, and you guys are toast. Like, I've been trying to educate everybody on this for like 5 years, and everyone is like, dude, it's way over my head. You're just you're too technical and you go too fast, and I just can't understand it. I am like at my wit's end, bro. And I kind of believe that this is all God for me. I'm on a spiritual journey,
for sure.
You know, and whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen. But I almost kind of think that if they do go through with this, everyone's just going to educate themselves, and they're going to fuck up so bad. Like, if they wanted to actually, I think we win this because they're stupid and they're about to ban everything and turn everyone into a criminal while they sell drugs. And people are going to be like, yeah, fuck right.
That.
I'm not paying $80 to your friend, dickhead.
I see that. And I hope that, as much as I hope that the government always gets caught with their pants down and gets spanked, I really hope that maybe people could educate themselves now.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to get into all of this and build ourselves back out of the hole.
In reality, you're talking to Texans, and so I try to tell these Pennsylvania and Chicago stupid fucks who try to come in here and tell us what to do, man.
Yeah.
We are Texans. We really don't give a fuck about anything. We just live our lives and try to be happy and take care of our family until you take away something from us. Then once you tell us we can't do it, we're like, oh, okay, motherfucker, fuck you.
100%.
Yeah, so go ahead and turn Texas against. You guys ain't got enough people.
No,
and the whole MSO army, you're about to fuck up Texas, and I'm gonna have a 4 times bigger army just from the population of Texas than they have support in their whole fucking scam.
Absolutely.
100%.
And I think, and part of like what I'm saying about educating ourselves now is it's not even the consumers. Like, if you're in this industry in any form, in any state, and you're not if you're not in bed with one of these large fucking multi-state operators and these corporate elites, like,
I have a better way to put it.
You need to join up.
If somebody hasn't already come to you and offered you a multi-million-dollar deal to give you equity in a company that is worth billions of dollars, then you are on the chopping block,
Yeah,
bitch.
exactly
You're
right.
not chosen for shit.
For
You have
shit.
been chosen to be destroyed.
Yep.
Whether you're in marijuana, hemp, whether
Whatever.
if you grow THC off of a fucking sponge at this point, they're coming for you.
100%.
They want a monopoly.
Well, it's official. We have launched the Texas Growers Podcast website. You can go to txgrowerspodcast.com and subscribe for all the latest and greatest updates, exclusive offers, promos. I have recently opened up my schedule to help you build your brand and your online business. There's been a lot of talk about where hemp is going to go and what's happening, so you need to make money right now. So we're opening up the opportunity for one-on-one coaching, for masterminds, and for group webinars where you can get access to that information as well. And you can find everything. So you can find the latest videos, you can find merch, even custom sea vaults. Check that out. That's one of my favorite pieces of merch so far. Man, I could go on. This is going to be the most action-packed, value-packed community in all of cannabis creators. If you want to be a part of that community, go over there, give us your email at txgrowerspodcast.com and subscribe. It's absolutely free. I absolutely ask nothing of you. Just be there, be a part of this great community, and take advantage of what we have. So we'll see you there.
I kind of think that, how do I explain this? I'm going to go back a little bit. The hemp bill, the way that it was written, they could have simply said, we legalized 3 milligrams per gram of THC, but they didn't. They put 0.3%. They could have said THCA will be legal, but instead they put acids, isomers, and derivatives of THC.
And
then these motherfuckers put it on page 420 just to troll the shit out of these assholes that didn't know what they were doing. You know what I mean? If they were clear about it, that never would have passed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Yeah, totally.
Somebody like an intelligence agency crafted this in a way that they knew that the legislators wouldn't read it, but would still pass it.
Right.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that this is all a military operation, buddy. And I truly do. I think that what you're seeing right now with Canada, what you're seeing with Carney coming against the United States, all these people are trying to invoke Article 5. You want to know what's crazy? I've been saying this for 3 years. They're going to try and invoke Article 5 against Russia. I was wrong. They're trying to invoke it against America, our own allies. And if people don't know what that means, that's a treaty we signed, back to that supreme law of the land shit, where if anyone attacks an ally in Europe, that all allied forces have to then attack that person.
Right.
And that is the supreme law of the land. Like, so right now, all the European and the Canadian countries have completely thumbed their nose and told us all to go eat cake. And they have done that to the Controlled Substances Act. Mm-hmm. And they've all incorporated medical marijuana programs in every European nation state in Canada because it's the crown. Mm-hmm. Do you understand me? It is the crown. And when they have done this, they have, how do I explain this? By them creating the what they've done in disrespecting the Controlled Substances Act, all of them have basically said the treaties don't apply to us, but the United States has respected the Controlled Substances Act this whole time. That's why marijuana is still illegal. Yeah. So we are one of the only NATO states that won't recognize marijuana as legal because we are a country that's ruled by laws and believes in the Constitution. So Trump is actually doing the right thing by keeping us saying no, keeping marijuana a Schedule I drug. We have international obligations. So now you have all these countries who have told us to go get fucked and are now trying to get a monopoly on the North American cannabis supply, who are now saying, oh, we can't have it, or you're not going to defend us, you're going to take our money back. Well, we demand you do Article 5. That's not how this fucking works. Either the treaties are in place and the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, or we can tell them to go get fucked on Article 5 like they told us to get fucked on cannabis. And that's the reality. So I kind of see this as stopping World War III in a sense. Because have these people, if Canada's allowed to actually join up with China, we're going to invade them and take their shit. And at that point, guess what doesn't exist? Canadian marijuana companies. Because if they become an enemy, then they will seize all of y'all's little MSO stock fucking investments as being involved of the Foreign Enemies Act, in which all of those Canadian assets will be sucked up by the U.S. government because you invested in a treasonous conspiracy against the United States. And that's realistically what this is. So seeing all the geopolitical events, seeing Canada fall as fast as it is, seeing them all scramble, seeing the North American Union being built in real time, everyone forgot about General Petraeus. I call him Betrayus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Internet of Things, when I call him a bozo, was in office, that was who was in power, and he said that this was going to happen. People just don't listen or pay attention.
No, they don't.
And
they're worried about tomorrow.
Yep, but the North American Union, it looks like, is happening. And when the North American Union happens, there's not going to be a Canadian stock exchange, nor a Mexican one. It's going to be all American, baby.
Yep.
Checkmate. So either you invest in American companies, and I believe that they have withheld from joining the corrupt actions of the EU and the Canadian government, specifically so that they can use international law to checkmate these dudes later on. That's what I see is geopolitical movements that were done by intelligence agencies who planned on decoupling from the crown 8 years ago, created legislation with cannabis to help do that because they know that marijuana or cannabis or hemp, all three together are America's cash crop. It is the largest market there is in the United States, period. If the Canadians are allowed to get a monopoly on the American cannabis trade, that's it, bro. We just lost 40% of our black economy.
100%.
And then they own it. And what, we're going to do that to people who want to blow us up and sell us out to China? Get the fuck out of here. I have full faith in the military to destroy these people.
I really hope people understand how much bullshit and how much politics is going behind that fucking $70 pack of gummies for 1%, or that eighth that you buy or whatever, you know. That's not even good. And it'd be one thing if they were just screwing us all over and we had great ass cannabis, but there's not even good product. That's the craziest part. And I hope that people wake up to that. There's so much more going on that they're using here to do all this corrupt, crazy shit. And yet, like, when you go buy that pre-roll, you don't realize, like, is that brand like fighting for this? Is they fighting against this? Like, what all went into it? What is all the geopolitical moves that are being made around this substance? People, it's lost on them. They're just trying to make it till tomorrow or the next smoke.
Essentially, if you support medical marijuana, you're supporting the destruction of the United States. And even if you just want to look at it from a cash basis, these people don't have access to the banking system. They have cash machines in every store, which means the Federal Reserve Bank of every state is having to reprint every dollar they're taking out of circulation, which is devaluing our currency by 51% on the dollar. So you guys are all smoking yourselves into fucking poverty for every dollar you spend on marijuana.
That's the fucking mic drop of the whole episode right there. And I've been trying to explain this too when I go out places and talk about Texas and people can't understand where we're coming from. And I'm like, we're looking at all of this, man. You know, you have even more insight than even I have. And I'm looking at it and I'm still drawing to the same conclusions that you are. And I'm telling people, I'm like, you know, if you're not getting an offer, if you're not already in bed with someone, if you're not making a list, you're fucked. So you better join this team to make sure that we keep it from them, because that's what's happening.
They want my shit so bad. They're suing me for like, and it's like 40 million times 3. So that I'm getting, they want to own my name. They want my intellectual property. They want everything. They don't want to destroy it. They want to own it. And then like prostitute my name out and destroy my reputation. And that's part of this. These people are evil, dude. That's all I can 100%. Say is they are doing to me what should be done to them in a federal court, and they should all be in fucking prison. And they should have to hand me over every dollar that they've ever made
100%.
Based on what they've done.
We're turning the tables, I believe. I think so. I mean, it's chess, not checkers. You got to keep playing to the end and look at these bigger picture things that are happening here. And
people need to focus on federal. I realize that the states are great, but there's a reason why all these lawyers, I'll go back into this precedent stuff. The very first real weed company that actually existed that gave everyone the idea that all weed executives drive Lambos and have fucking beach houses in Hawaii was MedMen.
Yes.
And the reason being was that
they're gone.
They're gone. Well, I mean, they're back.
But I mean, like they are
But that original company was backed by a hedge fund out of New York, and they stole like $125 million, something crazy. Don't count me to that number, okay? But they stole an exuberant amount of cash, and they embezzled it from the company, and they bought all this personal shit, and then the hedge fund went to go sue them, and tried to sue them in federal court for everything they stole. And the judge kicked them out and said, you don't have access to the federal court. You sell Schedule I narcotics. So that's why these marijuana companies are trying to do this state by state and then use
100%.
the states. And then they use the laws that differ in each state to then target out-of-state entities in order to get themselves guaranteed false results, which is racketeering in itself. People are manipulating transnational drug cartels who are laundering billions of dollars, who owe the IRS over $400 million right now, are filing suits against me through a state that allows a commonwealth to sue me from there in Texas, but I can't sue a Pennsylvania company from Texas.
Yeah.
So now I have to go. They're trying to say that Pennsylvania is more sovereign than Texas, and that all Texans can just go get fucked, and that their state courts rule the whole earth, and that I need to comply with whatever they say, and they're making me fight a case in another state where I'm gonna have to go and they're publishing all these negative articles and stuff about me. It is absolutely absurd. When realistically, if we could just go to federal court, then everything they accuse me of would just be inverted against them. And then they owe me 3x the revenue that they ever did in that state. And they owe me like, what, $400 million too? So, I mean, if we're not going to pay the IRS and that's the money that's there, like they're really like $1 billion in the hole. Because if federal law is the supreme law of the land, the states do not have the authority to create a marijuana program. No. They don't.
They never have. If
they never have.
They would have banking.
And the Supreme Court says that any law that's illegal can be ignored. They do not have the authority. That would be like saying they have the authority to reinstitute slavery.
Yeah, exactly.
State by state.
State by state.
You don't. You signed a fucking treaty that says that you are going to be tied to these banking obligations under an international model. And if you violate these, then you're going to go to prison under the RICO Act for money laundering and for money crimes, not for the weed crimes you did, because the crimes are the same that you would go to jail if you sold cocaine or weed. Yeah. It's the money that's going to get you. So these people are engaged in such massive financial crimes. Like, we should be getting a reward for turning them into the IRS the way the laws are written, dude. This is just so absurd that America is being destroyed by literal people who have their companies out of Canada
and in debt, half $1 billion.
No, not even in debt, $500 million. They have failed to pay any taxes to the IRS since like 2019.
What money?
And they're taking all the money that they owe to the IRS right now, and they're allocating it to we're paying for our own fucking destruction,
bro.
Like, this is the most asinine criminal shit ever. And I hope that people can see it and that some real lawyers who aren't scared of these cartel members, because it seems to me like most of the lawyers, man, and I'm not saying that they're part of the cartel or anything. I think they're just scared of these people. Because why, for like $4 million, like a lawyer who actually owns all his own shit, who gambles that every Sunday anyways, could be a multi-billionaire in the cannabis space and be like Mark Zuckerberg if he would just come find me. But they don't want to do it because they don't want a federal judgment. It's so weird because the federal judgment will result in the whole collapse of the system they got going on, man.
All right, so let's talk about like some action items now. I mean, obviously, guys, if you're grasping any of this, share this video, especially to people that are in the industry or depend on it or have invested some of their life savings into it. Share this video. Make sure these folks that are in your community also know this information and hear this perspective. If you don't know about stuff that we're talking about, if you want any clarification, you just got to put it in the comments. I can do videos all day on topics that you guys want to hear about, but I can't read your mind. So just throw it in the comments if you want to know what any words or verbiage means, or if you want to have backstories and facts brought to the forefront on any of the topics that we discussed here. You can simply just comment below. But I want you guys to also make sure that you check out Wyatt Purp and the brand and everything that they're doing out of the Dallas area, maybe even Texas at large. They're definitely one of the best. And so definitely check out Wyatt Purp. We'll link them, the socials, the website, the whole nine. All natural, amazing products. Definitely a leader in this space, so go check them out. But I wanted to leave you guys too, kind of on some action items. You know, this is a lot of probably new information and kind of maybe some like crazy information like that you wouldn't believe. But what is something that folks can do? Like, how can we start to fortify ourselves against some of these people, and how can some of these people that have been active in the Texas legislative sessions, and we have all these activist groups, we have all of this emotion.
I know how to hit this
How do
out
we
of the park.
how do we utilize that to
All
our
right.
fullest?
Everybody has to put their fucking egos aside. I've been playing in the background, just talking shit from a long time. I put
Yeah.
up a lot of money. Everyone wants to be famous and a hero. I don't want any of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't like try to go on TV. This is why this is like the first time I'm actually sitting down and being real with someone, like in a podcast format. You know what I mean? Because most people just think I'm nuts, but they don't understand that I also started this with no money, and I got this far just by talking shit. And we sell cannabis, so it was really easy.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's kind of the game. So
Yeah.
the fact that I was the only one willing to do it is kind of like charts to me.
It's
You know
wild.
what I mean? But
Dude, I mean, and again, like even on a small scale, like even with the grow that what we do, people are like, "What are you doing in Texas?" And I'm like, "Dude, we're just fucking crushing it compliantly." And they're like, "How are you the only ones doing this?"
Well, the action items really need to be, dude, that everybody needs to get on the same page. They need to hold their state legislators and their state people and their county people accountable.
Yeah.
Okay. And realistically, everyone has to come against the marijuana people.
Yep.
That's just the way it is.
Yep.
Everyone thought that we were gonna like kumbaya off into the sunset, and everyone was really upset with me for a very long time in the beginning, like Austin from Denton and all of these people, because they don't understand that they want to legalize marijuana. You can't legalize marijuana. It's a fucking double negative, and that's the scam.
It's not even real. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the scam. You can't do it. That's the hustle. Like, marijuana is the hustle, bro. Like, you're getting hustled by the government. That's it. They're using legalese to get you to perpetuate your own enslavement.
100%.
Marijuana will never be legal. If it becomes medical marijuana, it's still going to be illegal.
Controlled. Yep.
You
Totally,
don't,
bro.
that's the whole point. You can't get out of it.
Yeah.
Because that word is tied to a UN drug treaty regarding money laundering.
So everybody's dropping egos, everybody's coming together. We have this riff inside, right, of marijuana or cannabis, like.
But you have a lot of these big groups who still want to coexist, and then you have a lot of people who want carve outs on conversions.
Yeah,
like
or product types.
Yeah, dude. Like it can't be either. We have freedom or we don't. It's what's going to be even worse is for like, those guys that buy you to get their way, man. Like if they get their way, then like, yeah, everyone else is done too. Like be a team player. Support businesses who are team players.
Yeah.
All these people who want to play politics and want to be cutthroat businessmen, as they call it business. I call it stealing, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking ignore them. They're nobody. They have no power. They're trying to buy fucking influence.
That's why they have to play
They're
that
losers.
Way. Yep.
They have no support. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to pay for it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I don't pay anyone to get my back, and I got ears and eyes everywhere because I support everyone. I prop up their businesses, and I want everyone to succeed. That's the difference.
Yeah.
There's no carve-outs. It needs everybody. We should want everybody in every small business in Texas to succeed. Like there should be no way that we turn this into Exxon, man. Like we don't have to. We have the power.
We have the power. And
we need to file federal lawsuits against federal officials. This is where a lot of people don't understand. The reason why federal lawsuits, I believe, are not coming down the pipeline is that Congress has, under the direction of Obama, gave directives not to fund any money towards disrupting state cannabis institutions, okay? There's a second way to indict these pieces of shit, all right? And that's if we file our own lawsuits against them, prove crimes have been committed, and then we walk into the DOJ and we hand it to them ourselves. And then the Congress didn't pay for shit, and they didn't have to, and now we did it. Excuse me. Cool. We did it for them, and now they have to go and indict those people under the way the law works.
Yeah.
So we need to be organizing to actually file suits to create criminal charges against the people who are violating federal law. Otherwise, we don't actually have a country.
Yeah.
So the Constitution is supreme. Otherwise, they wouldn't be avoiding it and ignoring it like the fucking plague because they're scared of it. And we need to use the Constitution against them. You can't really use the Constitution in a state. The state will do whatever the fuck it wants,
to.
and then it has to be challenged the constitutionally of that in a federal court. This was my disappointment with all the groups in the beginning, is that they did everything backwards, and now we're in this fucking limited time frame fuck fest when I put up a lot of money because I wanted to go to federal court and checkmate these bitches from day one, but they wanted to kumbaya on the sunset and hold hands like we're all going to be friends. When I knew better from the beginning that, you know, I saw what happened in Florida. My family are the attorneys who put together ML legalizing, got medical on the ballot in Michigan. Like, I know how the politics shit works.
Mm-hmm.
And when people put in a ton of money, they expect a return on their investment.
Of course.
That's
it's not
just
free.
It's not free. It's called business. You live in the most business friendly environment there is, you know, whether or not you engage in legal business or moral business, that's up to you. Totally. That's where I try to stay in the line of. But there's lots of people who just see you as cattle and are like, fuck them. I need a new yacht. Yep. I don't give a fuck about them or any of these people. They don't care about
Which
you.
I always laugh because if I was like that, I'd be a hell of a lot further along.
Oh, I'd be rich as can be.
I'd have the yacht, trust me.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like,
I could have just went out and not told anybody anything, but I gave away the information to everyone, and everyone talks so much shit and wants to crucify me. And I'm like, bitch, you sell THCA and Delta 9. That's what I brought to market, 100%. And you guys ridiculed me like I'm a fucking asshole.
Nah, dude, I remember that. I remember the expo. I remember it all, bro. And that I've seen kind of a lot of the stuff here play out, like being just in the front row seat of it all. And
nobody knows my next one though. I got the patent. I filed a patent this time. So I can distill CBD into THC with no solvents. So I'm about to make all THC worthless and drop the hammer on these fools once and for all. Like when I can make 1 million milligrams of THC for $200, they can take their $10,000 liter scam and stick it straight up their ass and go back to Canada where it freezes the balls off. There's a guy, I know you don't like Glass House, obviously, but there's a dude that I pretty much respect on X. His name is Mark Cohodes or something like that. And he's like the most in tune with geopolitics. And as far as like, you know, big companies go, I personally, if I were to bet on any of them, I would bet on Glass House simply because it's actually an American producer. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to invest in a Canadian fucking company, dude. No. Y'all can all kick rocks. True Leaf is not a Florida company like they lead on. I don't believe it to be. If you're traded through the Canadian Stock Exchange, then you are not an American entity. Like, sorry.
If you look through their numbers, they're not doing well. So.
No. And they owe so much money.
Yeah.
So do all of them do. The only one that I believe that paid their taxes is Green Thumb Industries, Crazy. GTI. Of like the 7 MSOs that are multi-state operators that are the big heads, GTI is the only one that is actually like not so fucked off on all their debt. But they're all tied together through an EFT called MSOS. Mm-hmm. So that is where they're like dragging everybody down. And you even got like, I get... The people who hate me the most on X are going to be like Dank Informer and Jamie and old Tom, the worst lawyer ever.
These all-stars have recently found my page as well. So I haven't made it to their feeds yet, but I'm sure that I will with the clown makeup or whatever they fucking do. Yeah.
But even those guys who are all like, invest all your money in the Canadian stock market. We're going to get rich. Even they're like, what the fuck is going on? It's all rigged. It's being suppressed, but they're not realizing.
And what did they do? They just did nothing. But
they did nothing.
Money.
All they did is try to destroy the legal market in order to make money off stocks.
And then they just gaslight people on.
They just gaslight people constantly. But I found out that Mr. Dank is very well paid by someone very well known.
Oh, of course, yeah. No shit.
I'm not gonna go there yet because he's gonna end up in a
Texas
nice
Growers
position.
Podcast does not and will not take fucking money from these assholes to say any fucking narrative that they want. I only say whatever I want and whatever my guests want to come on and talk about. We're not fucking paid by anybody.
Nope.
Which is why people hate us, which is why we get C&D letters, which is why we keep making videos and we're not taking them down. Don't mess with Texas and don't mess with the Texas Growers Podcast. This is our thing. And if it leads to these large class action lawsuits, I hope that everybody out there listening or people that you share this video with, they realize that this is something that it needs to be a reality.
Like,
And
the state of Texas, under federal law, has falsely arrested and convicted over 200,000 people. And if you believe in liberty and justice for all, they had me say the Pledge of Allegiance before class every fucking day.
and I'm telling you what, dude,
You know?
it's not limited to just minorities. This
No.
is fucking everybody. Everybody. The soccer moms, the blue collar workers, and everyone in between. They don't care. This has nothing to do with your skin color or where you're from. They don't give a fuck.
Doesn't matter what religion you
Doesn't
are.
matter about what religion you are or any of this other shit.
It's literally just a hit job on people who use cannabis. It's like a war on cannabis, unless you buy it from them, of course. And that's part of the absurdity. At least you would think that they'd have like the DSHS in charge of this program, not the state police.
Right.
The state cops are gonna
Right.
the fuck
And
out of here.
We said it earlier, you know, cops are good people, but are all cops honest? Do all cops not lie, cheat, steal to get ahead?
No, that's
Of
not,
course
of
that's
course
not
they
true.
do.
Yeah, of course they do, bro. Of course.
Yeah, and what's happening right now, everyone involved needs to be looked at under a fucking microscope.
So
Especially with all this lottery commission shit that just happened.
oh yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Like they
Yeah.
were laundering money for the Texas lottery for the cartel, and now they're opening a marijuana. It's like they're replacing one program for another.
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Pay the
and you
fuck
know who's in
attention.
charge of it, but all of it? Lieutenant Dan Patrick.
Mm.
He's gonna fix it all.
Midterms are coming up, folks, and the general is coming up in November. Just so everyone remembers that, you know, while we're all dwelling under rocks, smoking weed or whatever they believe we're all doing, that is, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. There's elections coming, and drop your ego. And I don't mean this just from Texas people. Because Texas already has a good job of that. I really do. I really think so. I mean, yeah, there's animosity between some folks. There always will be. There's competition. There's also people that will undercut everyone and carve them out. But we all know who those people are. And for the most part, the majority of people in Texas have always come together to turn our backs to each other and fight the outside forces. And I think that if we continue to do that, we're setting a precedent for the entire United States and for some people to wake up a little bit to what's happening. And I think it's already happening in California. I think it's already happening in a lot of other state markets across the country.
I truly believe that Texas really is one of the most law and order states.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the heads of law enforcement actually catch wind of what's going on, I think that they will handle this internally. I really do. And
Yeah.
I think that they'll deal with what needs to be done, because there's just too much corruption that's
Yeah.
blatant, where they just completely, poured shit all over the fraternal order
Yeah.
of law enforcement. Like, it is just like they're officially a drug cartel,
You remember
a
that-
state-sponsored drug cartel.
You remember that press conference that Lieutenant Dan did when he had all the sheriffs and shit and
Yes.
the chiefs of police?
I don't
standing
think
back
any
there?
of those people actually
They-
know what's going on.
No, and they all fucking looked like Cash Patel, like held hostage, having to fucking say the script.
yeah.
Yes, yep, hemp's bad.
So I have a question that everyone needs to answer themselves too. If the sheriff is an elected position and 75% of people want legal cannabis, how did 240 something sheriffs go up against cannabis? Did any of them actually win a real election? Or are we dealing with a bunch of rigged elections? Because a sheriff who wants to kill 75% of his population doesn't seem like he'd probably get voted for.
Well,
So how does it? I did the mathematical odds on this, and the mathematical odds for you to have actually voted for someone who wants to kill you in all 240 something counties and then win for 3 cycles in a row and violate all the laws that have to do with cannabis for 3 cycles in a row are like 1 in 9 billion that it's real.
Dan Patrick, and this is. I mean, I'll find some of the proof if I can, but I know it to be true. Dan Patrick is influencing local and statewide elections
Oh, 100.
all the time,
I
whether
believe
it's
it too.
monetarily, whether it's with endorsements, whether it's with political pressure. Like, he is influencing races
And
all over the
he's-
state.
I think he's controlled by biotech. So if you actually look where he's actually has a stranglehold on everything, and if you actually know about growing cannabis,
Yeah.
that motherfucker is in possession of all the land we need to be the #1 THC producer in the world. And they've got it putting out $400 an acre
Yep.
cotton right now.
Yep.
And if we could get that land back and convert it to CBD biomass, we would be the most richest fucking people in the world from cannabis. And biotech doesn't want to give up that land because this hemp will actually fix all the glyphosate
All the
they
fucking
dosed in there.
problems.
They'll have to burn the first 2 harvests, but then after that, all the soil should be remediated, and we could be in such a prosperous position. And I truly believe that they don't want us to get our hands on that land. Like, they have all those people out there brainwashed under GMO seed production and chemical based. Like, all the cotton fields are out there. That's what we need. We need that dry climate to grow thousands of acres of biomass. We could get these farmers flipped over and getting them 2,000 an acre, and instead they are following Sid Miller and Lieutenant Dan to get $600 an acre for Dow fucking cotton. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense.
Here's what I keep reminding everyone, especially those people, is that those generation of farmers that are following that are dying.
They're dying.
They're poor.
They're losing all their land.
Losing their land. The next generation, I think, has more of.
There isn't going to be another generation because the companies keep coming in and buying up all the land there after they bust them.
But you look at it like what you're saying is true. The land that we need to do biomass, indoor agriculture, anything that we need to advance the state of Texas or the Department of Agriculture in general, literally could be hung on the hat of hemp.
Could be hung on the hat. And all we need are Plainview and that West Texas plains, bro. And I could crush this state out to make it the largest producer of natural THC on the whole planet. And literally, we could run the whole THC through an international system. Because like I said, what I'm doing is internationally legal because it's a Controlled Substances Act compliant THC delivery system. So you could create. If Texas were to actually be the largest producer of THC that was natural, and we did this the right way, we could literally be making gummies for Spain under their guidelines, under their language 100%. And their packaging, and shipping in fucking massive purchase 100%. Orders there, and everyone would buy it because everybody wants North American cannabis because this land is primo.
I'm working with some folks in that area to try to beef up production, and it's fucking difficult, man.
And they're going to spray everything with a plane when you do it.
For sure.
So you're not going to be able to grow clean stuff until you get like a 3,000 to 4,000 acre parcel to actually grow in. But anything that's less than that, you're going to get cross contamination from everybody around you spraying glyphosate all over their cotton and their corn.
We could go on for hours of how deep and twisted this is.
But what people really need to know is Dan Patrick. His name isn't even Dan Patrick.
No, he changed his fucking name.
His name is he changed his name. He's from DC. He used to be a sports broadcaster. I want everyone to know that you can't be a broadcaster on television unless you work for an intelligence agency.
Yeah, 100%.
That dude didn't win shit in my mind. He's been placed there by biotech to strangle the American agriculture and keep cotton going because we should be, dude, this is 100% hemp. Grassroots California makes this. This hat is a year old. I've been wearing the same one, and look, it looks like a brand new one.
Yeah, this is a brand new one right here.
This stuff is crazy good. They should be making all the textiles out of hemp. They should not be using GMO cotton and poisoning us.
Then your cotton people are going to get pissed off. Your lumber people are going to get pissed off.
Dan Patrick is he's like the kingpin of like the compromised for Texas, and he comes from DC.
And it should be clear. I don't think it's been any more clear than this legislative session. And, you know, I got people that are my folks' age in their 70s. They hate Dan Patrick. I got folks that are in their 20s. They hate Dan Patrick, and everybody in between. And yet this guy gets reelected.
Every time.
Every fucking time.
But you know what, though? I'm hoping that, you know, the voting machines
that's a whole nother one. Yeah, it's a whole nother one. Yeah.
And he ends up getting like 2% of the vote like he's probably always had.
Right. You talked to me earlier. What's like kind of some of your perspective or the truth about the alcohol folks? Because the alcohol folks get the bad rap that they're after us and stuff.
Listen,
and there
man,
is, but like...
There is, but there isn't. The alcohol people who want to murk you guys are going to be the spirits companies, not like the beer companies. The beer companies and the beer distributors, they act tough and hard game, but they want what we want, but they just want it for themselves.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? They don't want to share with any of us.
Alcohol's set up like that already.
Yeah, but you got to understand that the spirit people, like, they don't want to deal with my friends who have patents, international patents. So my friends have international patents on creating THC or CBD into a pico format, which is 1/1,000,000th the size of a nanometer. Okay. So the spirit people understand that one person will basically have a monopoly on all the THC because there's only one person and he has an international patent who can make the THC small enough to go through the filter where they can filter the alcohol, keep all the spirit taste, but then just get you high.
Yeah.
Nobody else can do that with emulsions. It'll all turn white.
Right.
It'll be weird. It'll
Milky
taste
and shit,
sour.
yeah.
It's not going to taste
hate,
like
like,
whiskey.
nano
Like
shit,
they want to
that's
make
gross.
mocktails that are
Yeah.
mocktails. All these bullshit. I have a sweet additive and call it a
yeah.
mocktail. That's not a fucking mocktail. So people, the weed people, they don't understand. They obviously they don't really know alcohol people, and the alcohol people don't really get the weed people. And
Yeah.
I'm related to a bunch of alcoholics, so I totally get both sides. You know what I mean? And the alcohol people don't want to taste your shitty sweet bullshit.
No.
They love the taste of their whiskey and their
burn.
cognac and their bourbon.
Yeah.
Like this is an acquired taste. It took them 20 years of becoming an alcoholic to enjoy. You're not going to be able to take that from them. They're not going to change their habits to incorporate THC.
Right.
They want, so the big spirit companies understand that there's literally only one person with the technology to be able to make it to where they could make these products and then still apply to the alcohol person.
Yeah.
And then they're going to lose all their market share. That 20%, they can't replicate it. Do you understand? So if they lose 20% to spirits through THC, like the beer people did, and they can't have access to the technology, then they just lose 20%. There's no recouping it by joining up.
Right.
Because they're not going to pay that dude because he does pharmaceutical stuff. Like I wish that everyone would go look at Pico IV. Okay. My boy Miles, he owns a company called Apex Labs and he owns Pico IV. He created the international patent for Pico. And he basically created his own frequency that allows for 100% natural microization of all molecules. So he's the first person to develop an injectable CBD product. And I can't really publicly declare what it does. I can in private, but let's just say Ecuador just picked it up. And I believe in the future that CBD is going to be something that is going to save hundreds of thousands of lives a year based upon what he's done, the application that he's done with it, because it does certain things inside the blood.
And Pico would be smaller than nano.
1/1,000,000th size,
Faster,
1/1,000,000th smaller than
more
nano.
accessible.
So the idea is that in pharmacopoeia drugs is you can't get something small enough to be injectable without it going through a pharmaceutical filter that allows for an injectable, and any emulsion-based chemical nano emulsions will never be small enough to fit through that filter. So he's the only person who has THC 1/1,000,000th the size of a nanometer. Do you understand how small that is? We're talking like bacteria, smaller
less
than
than a bacteria.
bacterium. Okay. And the CBD, when it goes into the bloodstream, has the ability to like destroy the cell wall by piercing a micro hole in the cell wall of like any bacterium, and then the body can kill the bacterium without antibiotics. So like this stuff is going to be top of the line, and it's already has like 18,000 doses given to humans.
Well, hey, why isn't medical marijuana advancing some of these technologies?
They don't want to, because this is the other thing, is this is what I was going to tell you, is that right now I'm telling everyone now, but for the last 5 years, everyone thinks I have a big mouth, but I've kept my mouth shut about a lot of stuff.
No,
It's very
sure,
strategic.
I know a lot of shit that I don't tell people too.
Yeah, dude. So this technology, man, it has been given out to 18,000 patients because the way hemp was descheduled. That's essentially what this is, descheduled cannabis that you're experiencing. Okay. So the FDA is allowing all of those doses to be considered for a human trials. All the marijuana people want to turn it back to marijuana, so that then they have to go through vertebrate mammals for 5 years and delay 5 years of research. So they don't
Fucking
want it
crazy.
hemp because hemp right now gives you access to the human trials you need to bring a
Right.
drug to market right now. And they don't want to do that. They want to suppress it,
Holy
own the
shit.
tech. Because if it becomes marijuana, then we're going back to a Schedule 3. Now, instead of it being descheduled, you're operating under the directives of a Schedule 3 drug. And in medical research now,
Yeah.
before you can bring it to any kind of human trials, you're going to have to give it to vertebrate mammals for, I think, 2 years or 3 life cycles of the vertebrate mammal with no side effects. And then you can give it to a human in a human study. Whereas right now, all cannabis could be fast-tracked through the FDA. And like this product is going into the nation state of Ecuador.
crazy.
They got a nation state contract. Let's just say, put it like that.
That's
you know what I
crazy
mean?
as fuck.
It's crazy. So I think Miles is going to be one of the people who will be one of the most renowned people in cannabis, because I'm glad to just be part of it. You know what I mean? But this dude, I believe, is going to save millions of people's lives.
But when we sit here and talk for an hour and a half about all this sinister, fucked up shit that these people are doing to try to use this plant to manipulate people, to grift and get richer, and then you talk about people like this who, I don't know who the fuck that guy is. I know who the fucking CEO of True Leaf is, unfortunately.
right.
But I don't
the
know
guy
who this guy
who's
is.
literally
who's changing
curing
the
people.
world,
I mean, I can't
curing
say
people.
that. The guy who's literally trying
to cure people.
trying to cure people and do actual pharmaceutical work, and
Yeah.
he has patents that are internationally granted and stuff, and they're ignoring everything.
And it's not
it's-
medical marijuana.
It's not medical because if you look at what medical marijuana is in the actual, if you look it up, like what is medical marijuana, it's going to tell you it's a CBD THC ratio 1-to-1 natural, which is what I've been selling since day one because I knew what I was doing.
Yep.
I knew that they handed me a marijuana license without realizing it. And that it would be worth millions of dollars as long as I played my cards right, stayed natural, never exposed myself to the long-term liability of synthetics, and just
do the pre and post.
Yeah, just fucking.
It was all right there.
Yeah, man, just go with it. Like they let me ride a huge wave that nobody else saw, and the people who saw it were like, "That dude's crazy." And now, I mean, I'm driving a $120,000 car, wearing a Rollie, build out a company worth millions off of 20 grand in 5 years. I'm the definition of the American dream.
Every
bro.
time people have said, "Dude, you're fucking crazy," I've doubled down. And it's always worked out in a positive for me.
Oh, as everybody pulls back, that's when I hit the gas pedal. Because I already
people
know.
who say you're crazy are scared people, and scared people don't make money, and they definitely don't become successful, and they definitely don't become heroes or pioneers or any of that stuff. And to me, it's also kind of like a rite of passage to have to deal with some of this shit. Because if not me, then who?
Oh yeah, if it was easy,
Right?
it wouldn't be worth doing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I know a lot of
I
people.
wanted to fight, you know.
I know people who are quitting this fight every day. They're packing up their businesses or they're moving.
That's what
or
they
whatever,
want,
and that's what they want. That's what
because they're flushing us. They're putting us in a vice right now because they're gonna lose.
Yep.
They're gonna lose on a federal level because the U.S. military is not gonna let the United States cannabis supply go to our fucking enemies. I just don't believe it.
What's really crazy to me is that this shit should make all of you guys mad. Like,
So pissed.
It makes me fucking mad, and it like to me it's just commonplace because I hear about some of this or deal with it on a regular basis, sometimes a daily basis. But it should make you mad at home. I mean, these people, you know, they're just gaslighting you and lying to you most of the time. They're causing rifts within our industry. They're distracting from innovation and from helping people. All for what?
All to make money off lies, which is fraud, which is called racketeering. That's why we have to start indicting these people ourselves. We need to all come together, put together a list of what's really doing it. And this is where I saw the lapse yesterday at the Tramp Shade Show. Lucas gave this great speech. Mark Bordres, he did an amazing job. But what they were saying was we got to do federal, we got to do state. But what they're not, the part that they missed was the giant.
Yeah.
Okay. The giant is the cannabis companies that's paying these dicks, these assholes to fuck you over on the state and the federal level, while simultaneously on the back end, no one knows what's happening to me. If they win successfully and destroy me, MC Nutraceuticals,
Yep.
and all these other people, then they are going to set the stage for every marijuana company to come back and sue all of you
All
for
of
your
us.
revenue times 3 and every one of your life savings, all your houses. Kim's coming for them, man.
Yeah, bro.
She is like, you know, the most soulless person I could
put the fucking devil horns on her face on a thumbnail for a reason, bro.
Dude, like, I mean, if I wanted a psychopath to run my company and knew that she would do whatever,
First
that's
call.
the lady. That's her,
Bro,
man.
you watch her in like interviews and shit, and like the way she answers questions, I'm like, why would you even as a CEO, why would you answer it like that? You know, CEOs are like, well, we're making the world a better place. She's like, no, I want all the real estate. Fuck them.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, why would you even answer
like
it like
she's
that?
cutthroat. No, like straight up, she sees us as not worthy of having money and that it's all hers.
Yeah.
And I want to know who bankrolls Kim. You know what I mean? Like everything is such a secret behind this, but they are just divvying out cash everywhere. Like whatever hedge funds are doing this, that's where we need to be hitting these dudes. Like they have the money. They're also, and I believe them to be, I believe the MSOs to be shorting themselves.
Oh, totally.
100%.
Totally, bro.
Because they intend to collapse everything and then reincorporate in America so they can rob everybody and blame it on Carney.
Totally.
And that was the plan the whole time.
It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. And it's all going to come out. I mean, I'm going to make it my life's work this year at least. I've been obsessed over this for the last 6 months now since the legislative session and all the stuff has really peeled back. And then like talking to a bunch of people outside of Texas and in the industry at large that I was connected with and just getting their perspectives too about how things have changed even over 3 years.
Just look at Michigan.
Exactly. Like people that were killing it are like looking around like, what the fuck happened? I feel like the floor dropped out from under me.
Dude, they just put another 25% state tax on everybody in Michigan.
And Everyone's about to die. The reason why these things are happening. And sometimes people, I think, refuse to see it or they miss it. And that's what's coming up, I think, for the industry, for this show. Hopefully we can help reach more people like this, is having more of those conversations. Like Nelson from Poetry of Plants is going to come on here and he has a completely different take on MSOs and on state rent markets and how the cannabis industry should be. And what I found is that we're all fighting for the same thing, just in different directions. And if we can kind of just align a little bit more, we have the power. It's chess, not checkers. And there's a lot that we can pin these people to. And it doesn't always take a bankroll in billions.
It doesn't.
It takes strategy, honestly. And if you look at Texas, I think it's a testament to that. We started to play the mafia game and play the game the way it needed to be played, and then you end up with a win on the end.
And I thought that was never going to win. I was wrong. Like, I respect you a lot for going in the governor's office and getting that. I didn't have any faith in him. I thought him and the Lieutenant Dan were in on it together so that he could play good cop, bad cop and fuck everybody and hook up the donors. But now I don't think that. And you had a lot to do with reshaping my perspective too, because you know, I really did assume that all of them were bad when there's this much money involved. But it's not like there's so much leverages to this power structure and politics that I didn't understand. I didn't care to understand, that I've had to learn over the last 6 months. Yeah. That now I understand Cynthia's going after these people. She did a great job. When at first I was pissed. You know? Yeah. I mean, I didn't understand it. I was like, you guys, how are you going to go play politics with $1 million against somebody who just handed $100 million? Just one person handed $100 million to these dudes, and you're going to try and go out bribe them with $1 million? That's not going to work. But it actually did. It created the influence and the pressure on the people that needed to be outed, where other people could find, to where then they looked yellow-faced in shame and they had to run away with their tails between their legs and then come back and do it through THBC.
Well, one thing that makes $1 million as powerful or more powerful than the 100 million is when the $1 million has an election swing amount of people mobilized and ready in an upcoming election year. It allows you to have $99 million short, because what you're saying is we're coming to the table with money. Okay. And there's more behind this 1 million, I can promise you, right? Because everybody's coming after us for our billions of dollars and our Ferraris, right? All the time.
Yeah. That we don't have yet.
So there's obviously more money behind this than $1 million. But regardless of money, you know, You could throw. I've seen people run a $10 million campaign against a $250,000 campaign, and the $250,000 campaign wins.
Yeah,
And why is that? It's because the people back that other candidate, and they get the word out, and that candidate can do things like get letters signed, get people to register to vote, get people mobilized to go vote, and sway elections, whether it be local or like hyper local or just at a state level.
right.
And we were very adamant about saying, money's gonna flow, but it ain't gonna ever flow if we're fucking gone. So do you want another big industry at your table in your state, or do you want it obliterated and you want these other motherfuckers to come in and take over?
And that's the problem that I don't understand, is that if they bring in these out-of-state entities, they won't pay any taxes.
The governor doesn't believe that the teacup will be successful in a decade.
It won't be,
because it won't be.
It's not possible
And so-
to be. I kind of feel like it's a. Oh man!
But what I asked for was that decade of runway of let me have regulation that allows us to thrive. Let us continue to offer this to the state and to consumers. Let us compete.
My hope is that everyone actually wakes up to the law,
Of course.
and that it's enforced. And that, I know this sounds absolutely asinine, but this is like what I said when I was going to bring this shit to market too, that everyone thinks I'm crazy. I truly believe America is in the #1 position, because we respected the Controlled Substances Act, to take the entire globalist cannabis supply chain. And how they're going to do that is by simply sanctioning nation states that are selling medical marijuana and force them to acknowledge they signed the control when they amended the farm. It's the Farm Bill here.
Mhm.
Every country who amended the Controlled Substances Act in 2014 had till 2018 to create draft regulations to bring hemp in their country. So every single country in Europe who's selling medical marijuana has the same type of legislation of hemp. We should be sanctioning them in all of their sales of marijuana, and then we should be propping and infiltrating all of these international markets with the same products as hemp, and take the whole fucking global thing. This is America. Fuck these people. Why are we giving everything away? Take it. It's yours for the taking. You followed the rules. I created the technology. I can't patent it. It's natural. I gave it all away. Told everyone how it worked. What I did patent is different. Like, everybody could be doing this in a natural way, and they could create a coalition of international attorneys to go sue these people in international courts under international law, and they'll win as much as they'll win in federal court. And we should be sanctioning nation states for violating the Controlled Substances Act while implementing THC hemp regulations in those nation states. And then their head start and all the billions they've been putting in Germany and in Spain and in the UK, it's all fucking worthless overnight. And now they have to work with us rather than Canada, our enemy.
Checkmate.
Checkmate, bitch. Like, why don't they put me in charge? I will lock these dudes in a box forever and drop it at the bottom of the sea.
Maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll get there. I really hope so. I mean, because I think more of the types of people like us that kind of can say, "No, fuck this. Like, let's take this over and take the power back for ourselves." I think more people. This whole thing started in counterculture. This whole thing started because the government was coming after this plant.
Well,
or
I come more from a perspective of military power. If we're just going to take Greenland, why are we not taking the entire global cannabis supply chain legally?
Exactly.
Why is this so crazy to think
Politics,
about, man?
money.
Why aren't we using the law and the treaties that everyone's obliged to agree with in order for agreements that to be enforced that are still in existence today, that were founded before the existence of the United States? Like trade agreements, there's certain families in Mexico who were given ultimate trade authority from the Spanish government like 300 years ago. Now there's like 74 families left who still have those rights. And that predated America. So America has to honor those.
That's fucking
those,
crazy.
those,
People don't even
those,
know about that.
Yeah, man, like this is a real thing. So I don't know how to explain it. America is not the center of the world.
Right.
And people need to understand that we're a little dot, and that everywhere else that we're surrounded by is a monarchy-based system, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us the greatest country in the world, is that we follow the rules and the laws and orders. We don't just say the king can just change his mind. Like, that's not how it works here. That's the whole reason we did this shit, so that they can't get out of it. because they could then, why not say we just nullify the Treaty of Paris and now we're going to have to fight a war for us again and we own you, bitch. Like they could do that based on the same principles as, we don't have to follow the drug laws. We're immune to that. Just you do.
Yeah.
Like these international obligations are what's so important. And the international banking in America maintaining its standing as the number one country to do business in is super important, that we handle this in a professional, legitimate way that makes America the most money possible. And I thought Donald Trump was going to do that, but I don't understand this Schedule 3 shit. Hopefully there's just a chess play that I don't see, and that there's a lot of things going to go on.
I remember seeing Kim in the Oval Office for the Schedule 3 shit. So
yeah. So, I don't really know. Maybe they got
something behind that, just so y'all know.
But
dude,
anyways, man,
this is not going to be the last time we talk about this to each other, to the cameras. I would like to come visit you guys.
Yeah, come see the shop.
Literally would love to see the shop. I
I'll
hear all about it.
Show you my machine that distills CBD and THC.
Dude, I want to show it all, and I want to. Obviously, I'm not platforming you just because we want to share conspiracy theories and push our message. The message is for the betterment of hemp and cannabis as a whole, to take it away from these people. We're not bitching and crying. We're actively working on this. And if anything comes from you watching these videos or keeping up with anything lately, it is that if you have a hemp or marijuana or cannabis business of any sort, you got to keep a handle on that thing. That's very valuable. That's what I'm trying to explain. With all the doom and gloom has to happen because we have something very valuable. We hold the power here and the leverage. We have that in our hands, and we need to be very careful with that. But we also need to be very strategic, and we need to get on offense. That's what we need to do. This industry is always on defense.
They're just shooting fish in a barrel.
Right.
We should have filed a federal lawsuit 2 years ago, and then all of them would be in checkmate mode right now.
And how many times can we take a hit to the chin and say, thank you, man, have another? We need to get on the offense and stop being so afraid of these people. And this message is not going to stop. I'm going to continue to get louder. I'm going to continue to fight as hard as we possibly can and adjust strategy as we need. And if you're out there, this is bigger than Colton and his guests sitting in some fucking room talking to the TV. When we leave here, we're right back into the industry. We're right back into the Capitol. We're right back into the DC fly-ins and all the shit that we need to do. The fight is huge, and it's on. It's on right now. This is a huge thing. It's very important, and it's not just important to all of us out here growing weed and driving Ferraris.
No.
It's important to you if you use these products. It's important to your family. It's important to you as an American to not let some of this stuff happen in our country because, I mean, for the last hour and a half here, you've heard a little bit about what's going on, and I'm sure that most of us out there don't agree with that. And in this day and age, we need to hold some folks accountable. I think a lot of political awakening has happened in America.
Me too.
I think we're seeing a lot of stuff behind the curtain, and this is one of those things. And we need to be very vigilant about what's happening to our hemp and cannabis and agriculture or any innovations like that in the medical scenario.
I just don't want to live in a country where you are guilty for whatever the fuck they say you are.
Yeah. This shit should make you mad. Leave a comment. Share this fucking video. We need this video to go viral. There will definitely be more follow-ups on this. I need to know what else you guys want to know, what you want to hear about, what information you want to be brought to the forefront. We obviously do a ton of research ourselves every week to try to put content out, but we need your help too. We can't read minds, and we want to know what's important. And maybe you have something out there that's a lead on something that we don't even know about yet. We want to know about that. We want to bring all of it to the light. We think that's the only way that this stuff gets out there. And then obviously make sure you support small local businesses like Wyatt Purp, like any of the other ones that I'm sure you can find in your local trusted retailers, because we need all the support and help we can get. Our fight is only begun, and it gets harder every single day. The giants we're fighting seem to get bigger and bigger with every day that goes by. And yet somehow, maybe it's delusion, but I think we can still win. And I think that everything that we've done so far has gotten us closer and closer to success. I think we keep seeing that. But if we let up at any point, we can lose. And that's what I want to make sure everyone understands is like, I don't bring on people here because they pay me money. I don't bring on people here to send a message because some large corporation or large political motivation is pressuring me to do that. I do it because it's the right thing to do, and it's the truth. And in Texas, this is what's led us to victory time and time again. We've converted politicians. We've literally beat ban bills. We've gotten into the trenches, and we've played the mobster mafia style game that they required of us, and we're doing it successfully. And we can't let up now. So we want to lift up more people that are not afraid to get out there and fight this fight and innovate and lead. And we want to hear from more people like you on what we should talk about next. So if you have something like that, please leave a comment below. And by the way, if you're out there shopping for high quality product and you're lost and you're tired of going to the local store or buying whatever you find online, check out Wyatt Purp. I mean, come on. Guy's on it. He's got an amazing place, amazing facility, and amazing products out of the Dallas area. We're going to go up and visit him. I want to go see and experience that for myself. I think the last time I actually even spoke to you was that fateful expo whenever everybody like started to meet each other like 5 years ago. So I want to see where it's all coming. I want to keep putting these stories out there. More people around the United States need to see what's actually happening, need to see who these operators are, need to see how the American dream is actually playing out in some of these hemp and cannabis markets. Right. And I think if we shine more light on that, we'll have less ammunition for these people who are against us. And I think it will help people kind of drop those egos, align more, and go after what is actually going to make the most impact for us all. And it's beyond THC, folks. Like I've always said that about the Texas thing. If they're going to come after one thing that we have control of and autonomy of, they'll do it after everything.
And
they're
compiling a list of cannabis users through a DPS program to disarm you and take your children.
And take your children.
That's it. Period. End of story. There needs to be something that says they cannot compile any lists, or DPS needs to be removed from that situation immediately, because it's their job to enforce the fucking law. You can't tell these dudes that they're not going to enforce the law. That's the law. So you are being set up for absolute destruction.
You got to watch out there. Seriously. It's the Wild West still. As much as we try to wrangle it in, it's still the Wild West. And you got to watch out for some of these people, some of these people that are pushing medical marijuana or multi-state operations across the United States, and watch their playbook. Watch what they do.
It's always going to be selfish.
It's always selfish. It's always going to be
at your expense.
At your expense, and they don't usually run new plays. They usually run the same old shit that they have.
They have a very strategic legal framework that they have to take over, dismantle, and destroy over and over and over again, and that's why it's a bunch of lawyers doing it.
I mean, Kim is running an affluent white Somali daycare, basically, is what she's. That's basically what it is. So if that shit with Nick Shirley pisses you off, just wait for what the Texas Girls podcast is going to get into.
They put up $100 million to amend the Constitution of Florida to give themselves immunity that King George himself
and then
didn't
admitted
have.
It like openly,
and then that $100 million that they paid to do that, they owe the IRS. So me and you paid for them to lose an election.
Yes.
That is so fucked.
That should make you mad.
I should not have to pay taxes if she's allowed to go reappropriate stolen tax money to her against her enemies. Like, what the fuck? I want federal action now. I demand it. I demand federal law be upheld against these terrorist criminals.
We need as much ammunition and support and power as we can possibly get. Don't mess with Texas, man. The people that you fucked with in other states and other markets, they don't have the culture that we have here. Don't fuck with Texas. You might be better off.
Oh, they can fuck with Texas. They're just going to get the horns.
Get the horns. That's true. we definitely are
dealing with some real cowboys.
I have a lot more energy and endurance and connections that I haven't used yet that I'm ready to.
Nothing is lost yet. As long as we can keep everything and keep it together, bro, all we're doing is holding heads.
Defend the hill.
It's over with. We got them. It's checkmate.
100%.
There's 100,000 of these businesses across the United States serving 100 million people. The MSOs, they want a monopoly, so they only own 13,000 locations. They'll never be able to even do the revenue that's required in order to be a real industry. They don't have enough locations. You can't sell $100 billion worth of cannabis through 13,000 locations. It's impossible. You have to leverage the existing infrastructure and not try to cut out the billionaire class who already exists here and cooperate with them. And that's what I want to do. 100%. I want to work with the alcohol companies, with the C-store brands, with all of the existing distribution routes that are already in place, not kill them and create my own and take them over. 100%. That is fucking crazy.
Just clean up the products.
Yeah.
Clean up the regulations and fucking let's make money.
Let's make money. Like, Texas is in the best position to make the most money. We do everything bigger in Texas.
Cool.
Everything. If we could apply this to THC on an international scale, we will literally
Well, if you're watching this and you're on the legal counsel of any MSOs or any of that shit, then remember these faces and remember that one too.
And for me, I'm getting sued for so much money that I can't even comprehend it. So, I mean, just get in line, bitch.
If you want to know what the front lines looks like against these motherfuckers, it's right here in this room and on this video. So definitely share this. Definitely subscribe to the Texas Growers Podcast. We are not done here. Nobody's off the hook yet. We have a long way to go with this. Make sure you connect with Wyatt and the whole Wyatt Purp crew. Try some of their products, the whole 9 yards. But again, the fight is alive and well, and we have fierce leaders like Wyatt here who are going to continue to push on this. And we just want your support. We want you guys to know the facts and the truth and make your own opinions. We don't want you to just take what is given to you by the fucking government, because we all know how that goes, don't we? But with that, we'll see you on the next one.